Selena Bus and Social Justice Tour, the Night Lab tutorial. Welcome to the Social Buses Just welcome to oh my gosh. Welcome to the Selena Bus and Social Justice Tour, the Night Lab tutorial. Today we're just going to talk about the one of the slides, which is the Sunset Station slide. And Sunset Station is a really cool slide to kind of work on, especially if you're thinking about what you're going to put into the slide, because Sunset Station is going to be one of the sites that we're going to visit. So I recommend just going through some of the sources about Sunset Station, what it's about, where it's located at, because it's actually really, really fascinating, like how that neighborhood developed and what that really means. But of course, you can also like adjust this to your discipline. You can adjust this to what you want to feel, and maybe if you have memories of shared memories of being there. I think that's even great. So we can also put something like that in. What does Selena mean to you in this space? And what does kind of the music video that was filmed there mean to you? That might be something really good to look at. So let's go over this real quick. I'm going to share my screen real quick right here, and we're going to look at the how to log on to Night Lab right here. Okay. So it's really easy to log into Night Lab. Just go to Night Lab right here. The first thing that's going to pop up is this main screen right here. This is from Northwestern University, and it's free. So if it's your first time doing this, it's really easy to log on. For me, it might allow me just to log on automatically, but all you need to do is really have a Google account with it, right? So if you have a Google account, they're just going to ask you to sign in with your Google account, and then you're going to be able to use it. So as soon as we get here, we're going to use story maps. And story maps is a really cool way of tracking evidence or just like these timelines, really, or slides of over spaces. So you're going to be able to track different spaces across time and actually seeing what happened there and whatnot, though. It's really like a glorified PowerPoint slide, but with actual geolocation attached to it. And it's really kind of cool. So let's get into it right here. Again, like I said, it's really easy to go over. This is signing in through Google. And so when we sign in through Google, right, I'm just going to use my Google account right here. And then automatically I already have one of these um, slides or one of these story maps really as the Anything for Selena's social justice bus tour. Sorry, it's just a tongue twister for me. I don't know why. So one of the ways we're looking at this is really seeing like how we're going to start the bus tour and then where we're going to end to as well. So one of the ways that we're starting this bus tour is actually with St. Anthony's Hotel, which is our first slide. But typically what you really start seeing when you look at the overall slide, it's the first slide is really your title slide. And so for me, I just put the Anything for Selena's social justice bus tour, and then basically where it's at, its location, what it means to me, where what movie is it based off of? Because we're basing it off of the movie Selena, actually, because a lot of the film was actually produced and created in San Antonio, in these neighborhoods that we're going to go visit on this bus tour. And so that's really why it's called Anything for Selena's social justice bus tour, because we're also looking at a bunch of social justice issues in the middle of San Antonio. So it's not really your typical bus tour that just takes you to a site and like explains what happened there. It's really this kind of overarching view of what San Antonio really looks like through the lens of social justice. And it's just kind of cool that we're following Selena with it too as well. So one of the things that we're looking at is actually the Sunset Station. If you haven't looked at any of the other sites yet, please do so. But one of them is actually Sunset Station right here. Let me see if you are. My camera's not working, but nonetheless, my screen's still working, so it's all good. Okay, so one of the things that we're looking at is actually this right here. This is the Sunset Station in San Antonio, and it's right here. And one of the easiest ways to actually identify and find this place is just do a simple Google search or Yahoo, whatever you're familiar with, right? So I'm going to go Sunset Station, San Antonio. Look, it's already popping up, right? And then they have a bunch of different information about this too as well. What I'm really interested in is also the address. So I'm gonna look up Sunset Station address, and so it's already right here, Sunset Station Historic Entertainment District. I'm just gonna get this address, copy and paste it, and then I'm just gonna put it right here. It literally has it right there, right? And so this is where it's locating itself at, right here, which is true because that's exactly where it's at. So let me just zoom in right here, and you're going to see that it's just adjacent to the Henry B. Gonzalez Center, really above the Alamo Dome right here, and it's just right here below East Commerce right here. The reason why it's called Sunset Station is because it's an actual train station that still managed today, right? It's created by the Southern Pacific Sunset Route into town. And that gets created in 1902. And if you're not familiar with this, San Antonio has two different railroad stations. One's the Sunset Station, and the other one's ING Railroad. But what's very unique about this space is actually where it's at. It's in St. Paul Square. And St. Paul Square has a deeper rooted connection with San Antonio, as it was the historic African American segregated area of San Antonio that was close and adjacent to downtown. Now, what we also are understanding about this part is that Sunset Station and St. Paul Square are actually byproducts of the emancipation of African Americans, and these would form some of the first freedom colonies in this area. So, one of the original freedom colonies in San Antonio that gets created after emancipation, after the Civil War, is actually this one over here, um, which is called Baptist Settlement. And Baptist Settlement, where it was located at, is right here of down below of Hemisphere Park right here. You're gonna see that there's Hemis View Apartments right here. There is Labor Street Kickball Field right here. And this is where Baptist Settlement was typically located at. And why it's called Baptist Settlement is because of all the different churches that were located there that were religious sites for African Americans and religious institutions for them. However, over time, what we start seeing is that African Americans are going to start moving closer and closer to the east side and further into the east side. I say closer to this east side because that really is like the south side of La Lavaca district where they previously had, especially Baptist settlement. It's a little bit like south, but so they're going to move closer to the east side and then further east from here. Mainly because of segregation patterns, but we also start seeing how this is going to develop. Excuse me. And we're going to see how this develops over time. But one of the ways we start seeing this, especially with the Sunset Station, is that this is going to be a central hub and a central district for African American businesses and commerce in San Antonio, right here. One of the oldest Methodist churches actually to form is actually St. Paul Methodist Church, which is the name of St. Paul Square, which is just right next to Sunset Station. And if you're not familiar with Sunset Station, this is where we really see the video pop up of Selena too as well. And this is also where we see her have the fashion show inside the movie too as well. But No Me Queda Mas is actually filmed in Sunset Station. And one of the ways that you can actually use Nightlab is actually you can actually just copy and paste the video from YouTube and actually post it on here, which is really fun to do, right? So if I play this right here, you're going to see all of this video play and everything else, and I'll show you exactly right here. And so Sunset Station is actually here in the background right here. Like she's in Sunset Station right now. And what we also start seeing is like different depictions of San Antonio and her view and how this is kind of playing out in the video. There it is. There's the famous one right here. But this is actually the scene of inside Sunset Station, which looks fascinating, by the way, right? And the video is just like a credit to not only Selena and her music, but also just credit to how they use the cinematography to really capture this video in this moment. And Sunset Station just has like a bunch of history attached to it. So I recommend going visiting there if you're in town. I recommend going seeing there before the tour, because when we start doing the tour, I think this is going to be a very unique spot because we can also not only talk about segregation of San Antonio, especially for African Americans, but we could talk about urban renewal because there's so many things that actually happen in this area that deal with urban renewal and eminent domain, like the highway, like Hemisphere Spot, if you're familiar with what's happening with the Spurs, that's exactly what it is. Or like the Henry Gonzalez Center or the Alamo Dome too as well. Like all these places have been contested spaces in San Antonio. And we just want to highlight that for visitors coming in, because when visitors do come in, we kind of want to show them really that this is a very big part of San Antonio's history, but this is a very big part of not only San Antonio's history, but Chicano history and Chicana history, because this is a very fundamental part of creating this identity around San Antonio. And how that's going to be created is really not only with displacement of people, but the production of actual created neighborhoods for people too as well. So I think this is just a really good spot to go over. And the way you see these things, I've been going over these videos. How do you use Night too as well? One of the ways we do this is where you put the link for the actual video. You can put a image here. You just have to upload the image from your files too as well. I put my citations right here. I put courtesy of YouTube because I don't own the video, so I want to put courtesy of it. This is where you put the description, and then this is where you put the title of the actual slide. To create a slide, it's really easy. All you have to do is really click Add Slide, and then it creates a slide for you with a blank slide, a blank slate, and everything else too as well. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I sent everybody an email today. So if you need any advice, if you have any questions how this is going to go down, please reach out to me. Other than that, we can go over other things too as well later on when we start doing more of these tutorials. But as for today, this is going to be about it. So real quick, when we look at um, the overarching story map, this is how it's going to look at the end of the day. And it's kind of cool. It looks really interesting, right? We start seeing how these things work and operate. We start understanding that you can go to different places, and the story map's going to track different locations around it. Next week, we're going to go over Clifton versus Puente. And if you don't know anything about that, like, please hit me up. I think it's a very, very fascinating civil rights court case based in San Antonio. It deals with a lot of different parts of not only San Antonio history, but Borderlands history, Chicano history, and how that forms into a neighborhood. So have a nice day. I will see y'all next time. But other than that, I look forward to y'all being able to use these tutorials to help you out with your story map. Please let me know if you need any help. Thank you. Have a nice day.